Okay.
Mr. Mayor, changing topics just a bit here. The other evening here in New York City, we had a young police officer, 25-year-old Brian Moore, shot to death on a city street. What are your thoughts? I was struck yesterday, the New York Times, and I'm not putting this on the New York Times entirely, terrific paper, maybe arguably our best paper. There's no mention on page 1, really, of the fact that Officer Moore died. We cover, as we ought to, whenever anything happens with the police out on the street, with victims of police brutality, police shootings. It's on page 1.
Right.
What are your thoughts on the discrepancy between the way the media and politicians address situations that are legitimate in places like Baltimore or New York, Staten Island, wherever, and the way we don't address police deaths sometimes?
Look, first of all, I think this is part of the bigger discussion of how we bring police and community together, because I think we need to understand, we literally are all in this together. We need to understand the pain that is caused to a family when we lose a police officer, and obviously the pain when we lose a civilian as well. But look, this man was a hero. I've gotten to know his record was extraordinary, the kind of young police officer you can only dream of, a family of police officers that gave so much to this city. I spoke to his father last night. It was heartbreaking because the father had raised his son the right way, and now we've lost him. So I think New Yorkers feel this very, very deeply. And Brian Moore is someone we should all emulate. We also have to figure out how to continually bring police and community together, because we've lost a lot of other good young men recently, particularly young men of color who are innocent, who are unarmed. I think the issue here is to change the relationship at the grassroots. Some of this is about addressing the economic reality. That's certainly true in Baltimore. But some of this is about the things we are trying to do here. Commissioner Bratton's done an outstanding job retraining our police force in how to de-escalate in situations where there is, a moment of interaction with a community member. Body camera. A whole different set of approaches that we think are going to bind police and community together. I also believe when that happens, everyone gets safer. Because what good cops will tell you is they want information from community members. Just like after this horrible tragedy with Brian Moore, community members pointed out the perpetrator. And we want to get to a day in this city where a police officer walks down the street and community members say, "Good morning, officer." The officer said good morning to the people that they've come to know. This is part of Commissioner Bratton's vision, a really deep community policing. And if there's a bad guy somewhere or an illegal weapon somewhere, community members can help the police to identify it and get that weapon off the street, for example. I think we can get there if we can do the hard work on the ground of binding police and community together.